Hey guys, Derek here. Welcome back to the channel. We are here to do another trailer reaction. This is for the teaser trailer for Andor. So Star Wars Celebration is happening right now, and they've been showing off a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool announcements. But one thing they showed off is a teaser trailer for the Andor show. This is a prequel series to Rogue One, which is one of the better Star Wars movies in my opinion. And it's focusing on the character of Cassian Andor and how he kind of went from, you know, where he started out in life to, you know, becoming a fighter in the rebellion. And I think it's going to be 2 seasons, right? And the first season is going to cover, you know, I think what I heard is the first season is going to cover like post Return of the Jedi type stuff, and then the second season is going to be more build up to directly to Rogue One. So I'm very curious. This, you know, on the surface level, this wasn't necessarily a show I was like asking for. You know, it kind of, you know, it didn't necessarily seem like at the point in which we meet Cassian, right at the start of Rogue One, I don't know if he's necessarily like the most interesting figure. Like, it's cool that he's in the rebellion, right? But he seems very jaded, and he seems just kind of like another rebellion soldier who's like willing to do whatever it takes for the rebellion. And then by the end of that movie, he's in more of like a heroic type role, even though he dies. And he's much more sympathetic at the end of that film. So plus also that film came out like I feel like 6-7 years ago now, and for them to now just be releasing a prequel series to that, it's kind of interesting in terms of like what the actor will look like. I wonder if they'll do any sort of like digital de-aging on him, or if they'll just be like, pretend pretend he looks younger. Either way, I'm stoked for any sort of Star Wars stuff. I love Star Wars with all of my heart, even though, you know, each era of Star Wars has its own flaws. You know, the original trilogy, the prequels, and the sequels all have specific flaws in different areas, but I can't help but love all of it. So I'm personally very excited for this. It comes out in, I think, August, right? And then they announced that The Mandalorian Season 3 is coming back in like February of next year, so decent chunk of time until then. But you know, they have this to hold us off for now. But you know, I've been talking too much. I'm very excited to jump into this trailer. Before we do that though, please consider leaving a like on the video. That means a lot to me and it helps my channel out a ton. If you're new here or find yourself coming back often, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified when I upload. And then if you want to support me in a more direct way, consider checking out my Patreon. That is linked in the description below. But otherwise, let's jump into this teaser trailer for Andor. Is that a hammer? And oh, is this the Star Wars version of a bell tower? That's actually very interesting. Throat singing. Let's go. Is that young Cassian? Ooh. Those are clone trooper chips.
They're so proud of themselves, so fat and satisfied.
Yeah, they are. They just
They're everywhere.
came to a prominent role. The Empire's hot on themselves right now.
Soon enough, these days will end.
Is that a Skarsgård? That's the one from
There'll be no rules going
Chernobyl.
forward.
No, clone troopers? Are those clone troopers that we saw?
People are standing up. That's what a reckoning sounds like.
It's the start of the rebellion. Exciting. Exciting. Yo, okay, so that looks like a lot of fun. Not fun, because people are suffering, but it looks good. Like stylistically, it looks really gritty and like down to earth, or down to whatever planet they're on. It's cool to see some like early Empire type stuff again, like seeing Coruscant again, seeing the Imperial Senate, clone troopers, the ship carriers that we see in the prequels. That's really cool. And it's based on the description. I mean, this show is going to be covering like how the Empire kind of has affected the everyday people, and then the start of Cassian's role in the rebellion, and how the rebellion as a whole is kind of built, and then how these other planets and places become embroiled in the rebellion, and why they're joining. And it's really, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the end of the non-canon now Star Wars game, Star Wars The Force Unleashed, where towards the end of that game, the spoiler alert if you've never played it, the rebellion is kind of created officially, and there's probably, hopefully, going to be a decent chunk of elements from Star Wars Rebels that's pulled from in this show, because that features heavily in somewhat the same time period. At least I feel like Rebels would be like the end of this time period, right? And so Rebels focuses a lot on like the building of the rebellion and things like that as well. So it'd be interesting to see if there's any crossover, and if there is, what that would be. If we, I don't think we're gonna see a younger Ahsoka in this show, but that would be interesting if we did. But maybe seeing some of the crew from Rebels when they're a little younger, that would be interesting. But overall, this show looks fun, looks gritty. It looks like it's gonna be a more like, not like war focused show, but it looks like, because they're like, we're talking about this specific thing. Like, I feel like this is also one of the most intriguing time periods in Star Wars, because we don't know a ton about what happened, right? We had episode 3, and then we have the original trilogy, and they covered some of it in Rebels, but in terms of like live action, in a more mature way, we haven't really seen a ton of it. Rebels isn't necessarily immature, but like early on, definitely in Rebels, it isn't necessarily like a adult focused Star Wars show. So it's just interesting to see more. I am excited for this show. I'm personally more excited for Star Wars Acolyte, which is another show they're making, which is, I believe, set up like 100 years before the prequels. So seeing how seeing how the Sith really built themselves up again, and how the Empire was able to take root under everyone's nose, that's really exciting to me. I've been reading some of the books that focus on the High Republic, which is hundreds of years before the prequels, and I wonder if Acolyte will feature any elements. I think they're technically still a decent chunk of years in between those two stories, but it would be interesting if they featured any elements or mentioned anything from there that I could like geek out on. But overall, this looks like a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. It says August 31st, right? So like 3 months from now, 3-4 months, not long, but there's a lot of shows coming out this summer, so I'm gonna be very busy watching all those shows. But yeah, definitely let me know what you guys thought of the trailer down in the comments below. Very interested to hear your thoughts, and if you're excited for this at all. I kind of wish they would have, announced more, released more at Star Wars Celebration, but I assume a lot of their production took took a hit with COVID. You know, there's probably a significant delay in a lot of the stuff they wanted to do. Plus they had some things canceled due to actors being buttholes, aka Gina Carano. But yeah, definitely let me know. Are you guys interested in this? If you enjoyed my reaction, please leave a like on the video. It means a ton to me, helps my channel out a lot. If you're new here or find yourself coming back often, hit subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified when I upload, especially if you want to see me react to any Star Wars related content. And if you want to support me even further, consider checking out my Patreon that is linked in the description. That would mean a lot to me as well. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.